Pick 3 lead sources you want to focus on, master it to make sure that everyone can say, this gal is the best at these 3. And before you master it to the best you can, you don't add anything else. Master, repetition, repetition. It's boring. It's not as fun. It's not getting the results as quickly as someone would like to. However, that's the only thing that's working. The only thing that's working is working.
Welcome back to Grounds for Success with Espresso Agent, where we give you the tools to become the neighborhood expert. Today, I have the pleasure of being able to speak with and interview Tom Ferry coach Roman Ivanov. So Roman, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for your time. I know time is precious. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Well, thank you for having me here. I've been in real estate for quite some time, for a little over a decade. I came into real estate right after 2008 crash. And when everyone was out of real estate, I decided to join real estate. And it was rough. It was rough for quite some time until I joined Tom Ferry myself as a coaching client back in 2015. And then my business started getting better and better every year.
Yeah.
Until I reached the point that I wanted to give back to the community. And back into 2020, I became coach myself. I reached out to Tom and I asked, well, I understand that selling real estate is good money, but my passion is coaching others. And this is how I became coach. And for the past 4 years, I've been coaching agents throughout the country and abroad. I have a coaching client in Australia, United Arab Emirates. So we're all over the world. We're an international company.
So interesting you say that, because do people in other markets and other countries, do they experience the same kind of difficulties and struggles that people have in their businesses here in the States? Or is it different?
Business is always very similar, no matter which country you're talking about. Yes, there is some specifications for every different market. Yes, it also part of my work. However, majority of agents struggling with structure, with discipline, time blocking, with motivation, and that values I can deliver across the world.
Yeah. So that's a valid point you just brought up. So whenever you were entering the business, a lot of people were getting out of the business. So what do you think you can accredit to your success over the last 10 plus years, where other agents you see are struggling and exiting? We're having a mass exodus in our business across the globe. What do you think attributes to that? What kind of systems and processes and stuff do you have in place? And what are the things that you kind of structure your business around?
Well, with my own picture and with pictures of a lot of agents that I have coached who reached the success, who are making million plus in GCI, the only difference between agents who are making good money in this business and who are not really and struggling is the massive discipline. If you do anything that you choose, it can be social media, phone calls, postcards, farming. If you do it at a high level consistently,
Yes.
then you'll reach the goal. If you try this and try to find that magic pill, probably not going to be lasting more than 2 years, because we see that average time in this industry is roughly 2 years, and then agents trying to find something else, unfortunately.
Because they say it doesn't work. They're like, oh, well, what I did
Right.
didn't work. And it's like, well, you just did it twice. You did it
That's right.
twice and it didn't work. We see that with open houses, for instance. Like I just hired 2 agents on my team, and I have one agent who's just like wants to do all the things. And I said, listen, we need to just do these 2 or 3 things that we know will move the needle in your business. Let's do them with the C word consistently. And let's go deeper in those lead sources versus, going more lead sources, which I think is a huge mistake agents make in this industry. Is they think, oh, if I want to get more business, I need to add more lead sources. What they don't realize is if you're doing everything, you're doing nothing, and you're not mastering anything, and you can't be consistent in your business if you're trying to do all things at the same time. Do you see that as well?
Absolutely. You pick 3 lead sources you want to focus on, master it to make sure that everyone can say, this guy or this gal is the best at these 3. And before you master it to the best you can, you don't add anything else. master repetition, repetition. It's boring. It's not as fun. It's not getting the results as quickly as someone would like to. However,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that's working. The only
Yeah.
thing that's working is working.
The only thing that works is working. That 100%. I think a lot of times people, they don't know what we go through every single day. People, it looks very glamorous from the outside. It's like, oh, they're driving nice cars and they make all this money. And some agents do, that's true. But they don't see the blood, sweat, tears, dedication, and sacrifice that it takes to be able to get to that level. They didn't just wake up one day and have all the success. And I think people, they always want to be where somebody is now, but they don't realize it took them 10 years or plus to get to where they are. And so it makes it very frustrating for people because they're like, well, I'm not as successful as so-and-so. But what they don't realize is they've been doing this for 15 years and they've built up 15 years worth of consistency and past clients and referrals to put them in their business where they are now.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. It comes with a long work, long hours of this boring work, not so much fun, but as a result, the payout worth it.
Yeah. So on that topic of picking 3 lead sources, what do you think are 3 really good lead sources that people could be using in their business that they may not be thinking about? Or what are the 3 that you think are doing really well that agents should be focusing on?
Well, I would start from what's already working in your business. If you're not brand new agent, if you have some experience, if you're 1 year plus, look back at the previous year. Like we're wrapping up 2024. Let's look back at what's working already and double down to make things that's already in your systems better, rather than trying to implement something new.
Yeah.
In terms of if you already have this already at a full speed, what would be the new things? Think about your strengths. Think about what you really enjoy.
Mhm.
Some agents really enjoy being on camera and creative, and that's their
Yes.
niche and that's their best lead source. When
Yeah.
others are really good on the phone or just being on computer doing some pay-per-click ads. So everyone's different. However, start from focusing on what's really making you excited and you enjoy. And then when you execute on all these things that makes you feel comfortable, maybe adding a little extra lead sources that are just pretty much like check equity, that can be optional when you already build up enough funds in your marketing account.
That's the other thing is I think a lot of people get into our industry and they just want to buy all these things and spend all this money to actually do the business for them because they're like, oh, if I buy this, if I hire a VA to do my ISA, I'm going to set all these appointments. And let me tell you something, you could run out of money very quickly in this industry. And there's so many lead sources out there that really it's all sweat equity. It doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes more of your time and sweat equity and you having, ground to pavement, door knocking, open houses, those kinds of things. Those are lead sources that essentially cost you nothing.
You're absolutely right. It was numerous times when a client came to my schedule and we started reviewing everything that the person's spending on. And at the end of the day, we find out that this person is not using CRM. So
Yeah.
I say,
Yeah.
let's wipe this off, get yourself CRM, and let's start from scratch. So you're absolutely right.
Just the basics. Like going back to the fundamentals. So like I grew up playing competitive sports and I will tell you, I had this coach for a very long time. He was amazing. He's passed away now, but he was very big on getting really good at the basic fundamentals and then building on that with your skill set. And we would win games mostly one because we could do the basic fundamentals, but also because we would just outrun everybody else because he would just run us crazy. So it's kind of the same thing in your business. Is just focus on the things that get the needle moving in your business. And here's the thing is the magic to me is in the mundane. Like if you're doing something and it seems like it's boring, what you don't realize is if you keep doing that, my pipeline's getting fuller. Oh, I'm closing more deals on a consistent basis. You mean if I prospect every single day in my business, I'm going to have closings every single week? Like people don't understand that's where the needle moves in your business.
100%.
So what do you think somebody's schedule would look like if they wanted to be successful in this business? What should their schedule have in it? What should it look like as far as time blocking and specific activities they should be focusing on?
Well, we can discuss 3 major fundamentals in the schedule. First of all, is working on the business. A lot of agents starting from scheduling working in the business first, but I would encourage you to start time blocking working on the business. Working on the business can involve role playing. It's not necessarily bringing you money, but that improves your sales skills.
Yes.
Working on the business could be reviewing your numbers. Are you hitting the goal? Are you behind the goal? Are you above the goal? And what's bringing you there? Writing 3 things that can be improved, writing 3 things that can be removed or improved can be definitely something that encourage you and sets you on the right path.
Yeah.
Number 2, working in the business time block that absolutely everyone should have in their schedule is prospecting. And
Yes.
I want to repeat my great coach, Bill Pipes, who said it's
Oh,
prospecting based business, marketing enhanced. So we want to focus on prospecting. No matter how much marketing you do and how many leads you get, if you're not prospecting, if you're not connecting with them over the phone, if you're not delivering value, it's all for nothing. You can have thousands and thousands of leads in your CRM. If you're not reaching out to them via phone, saying the right things and moving the needle, it's all for nothing. And obviously, we need these leads, and obviously, we need the marketing. So that's the third fundamental of a real estate agent schedule. We also need to market, because if we don't have leads, we don't have anyone to call, then it's all for nothing also.
right.
So these are 3 things that I would encourage every single real estate agent to put in the schedule, make it non-negotiable. Unless the office catches on fire, you do these things, and then the rest of the day can be done with everything that else you have. If you have showings, appointments, if you want to work on open houses, that's done after one fundamentals in place.
So that's very good advice. All those items you just said. So if you're a new agent or you're just trying to get up in production and get more transactions, that's great 3 things that you should be focusing on. So he knows his stuff. Jeff May said one time, I was getting my business up and going, and this is over 6 years ago, and my schedule was kind of all over the place. I mean, I had everything in my calendar, but there was like no cadence to it. It was kind of like, well, I went on an appointment here, and maybe I'll go on an appointment here. And he said, stop doing that. He said, you need to have built-in time blocks into your calendar for the times that you're actually going to go on appointments. He said, so maybe it's, and this is just an example, and I started using it in my business, and it's been huge. So I have appointments that, like, I have content creation Thursdays, half a day, right? So this is part of that content creation. And then I also have where my appointment settings are, maybe I have a box for an appointment on Saturday if I need to take it, which most of the time I don't have to work on weekends. And then I have during the week where I have 1 or 2 days, like, so Mondays is my heavy appointment setting day. Tuesdays I do follow up, and then Tuesdays I go on appointments, and on Thursdays I go on appointments. And that's because that works in my schedule. And people, I think, fear that if they do that and they're not available at all times to people who potentially could be a lead, that they're not going to get business. But you have to run it like a business, and you can't be available 24/7.
That is absolutely true. Yeah, if that person cannot wait until you finish with your appointment, that means that probably that person, that lead, is not trusting you enough or not loyal to you enough. So that's okay to let that person go. Instead, you can
Yes.
get 5 more deals and
Yes.
5 more opportunities instead. That's
Yeah.
a great point. And one more thing I want to add to what we've been discussing is it all starts with a new habit that agents going to learn. No matter if they just enter in the business or they've been doing this for years, time blocking and scheduling and being consistent and actually saying no to distraction that comes in when you
Yes.
time blocking is a new habit. So
Yes.
the new habit needs to be formed, and it takes some time. And
Mhm.
building a new habit is always uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So it's okay to be uncomfortable during that time to get to the point when the habit formed and it's part of your routine. You don't even think about it. Like we drive in the car, we're not even thinking about this
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
We're doing it automatically. It's the same thing with prospecting, same thing with marketing. We're not really thinking about this. We pick up the phone, we know our script, we know how to say it, we know how to get the right energy, and we do it. That's all.
Yeah, I love that. What are some of the things, we're going into 2025, we're, working on our business plans. What are some things that agents should be focusing on going into 2025? What is some of the advice you're giving some of the agents that you coach?
Well, first of all, we need to come into 2025 with a business plan. You're absolutely right, and we need to have the direction. where are we going. So this is why we heavily working on business plans. And as soon as we establish this is like a map. This is where we aiming for. And throughout the 2025, we need to stick to the schedule, because right now I hear a lot of rumors. Oh, the market is down. It's property is not selling, and people get upset. And this emotions bringing the business even further. Well, instead, we need to focus on the business plan. All these fluctuations of the market is normal.
Well, we can't control that anyways.
Right.
Right.
The only thing that you can do is blindly execute on your plan and do what you need to do. And if you have a plan and you work with a coach, you know what you need to do. And crying about the market is not going to make your life any better. The only thing you can do is put the
And
work.
no one cares.
Yes, no one cares. Absolutely, no one cares. But if you put the work in and you get through this, you will absolutely see the payoff. Maybe it's going to be a little further down the line, but I don't think anyone's hungry or don't have enough shelter or roof above the head. We're good. We are okay. Probably not as many sales now, but it will. If you're going to stay consistent, it will pay off later.
Yeah. Even with my business, like it's a little bit down right now. I told my husband today, I'm like, I don't know if I only have a few closings for December, which I'm not used to, but also I'm not out here spending a ton of money on things either. I'm trying to make sure that, I'm still prospecting my business every day. I'm still going on appointments. I have 26 listings. So if they could just go into contract, it would be amazing. And I'd have the best fourth quarter I've ever had. But you're right. Right now, the market is slow and we can't do anything about that. We cannot control the market. But what we can do is control our daily disciplines and how we're going to continue to get business. And what I think is interesting, and I would love to hear your feedback on this, but I think it's interesting when agents are successful in any market, what the difference between those and other agents are. And I think that you hit the nail on the head where you said that they're doing those daily disciplines, because we can't control what we can't control. All we can control the things we can. And that is what we're doing in our daily schedule every single day.
You're absolutely right. And it's worth celebrating right now that market is slow. A lot of agents are upset and not working. That means that more opportunities, more future business that's coming our way. It's just a matter of getting up, getting in the office, picking up the phone and making these calls.
Yes.
Because we have much less competition than we're going to have in spring when market starts booming, and everyone's going to be calling these leads.
Yes. So it's interesting you said that, because I had a conversation. I'm hearing a lot of sellers say this. Well, we're going to wait for the spring. And I say, okay, I completely respect that. But out of curiosity, tell me more about your thought process for waiting till the spring. And they'll say, oh, well, the market's going to be better. And I say, okay, is it okay if I just tell you my opinion on that? And they say, yes. And I said, the problem with waiting till the spring is that's what everybody else is doing too. So whenever you get ready to go on the market in spring, you're going to be hitting the market at the same time as all the other sellers have been waiting on the fence to be able to go on the market. And I said, if you go on the market now, you have a lot less competition. I said, so you could potentially sell your house for even more with less days on market because you have less competition versus waiting to go on the market when everybody else is going on. And they were like, that's actually very interesting. They said, I had never thought about that.
Exactly.
And they listed now versus wait till the spring.
Fantastic. You have great sales skills. Yes, explaining this idea to the sellers, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of practice. And I can tell that you practice this script a lot.
Yes.
So
yes.
At this point, all we need to do is focusing on how we can deliver the message, how we deliver it the right way. And as soon as we get to the point that we can be as good as you are, then turning this on the fence seller to listings, gonna be not a big deal.
Yeah. So I leveled up my skill set by role playing on a regular basis. And so that's how I built my business, that and working expired using Espresso Agent for all my data. I continue to use Espresso Agent for all my data and opportunities. And so, yeah, just doing, again, not doing the stuff that's sexy, not the stuff that's fun, not the stuff that people love, but the stuff that's necessary. And so I think it's also interesting to know that a lot of people don't know the difference between being busy and being productive. And they'll fill their calendar up with all of these busy work. And then they're like, I haven't got any more transactions. I don't have any more contracts, but I'm busy all day. And then it's like, well, what have you been doing? Like, are you doing anything that's actually going to move the needle in your business? Or are you just keeping your calendar full of unnecessary tasks that you need to be doing?
Right. Every time I hear I'm busy on a coaching call, I always respond, well, give me the list of busy things that you do. And we start reviewing these busy things, and then unnecessary at all.
Yes.
Oh,
so yes,
delivering paperwork, picking up the check. It's not
Yes.
necessary.
Those are things you should not be doing.
Absolutely not.
So when I talk with agents, I always talk to them about having that hourly rate because a lot of people don't understand what they should be delegating out. And I said, well, one of the first things that you could do is you could come up with your hourly rate. And then you have to look at it and go, is my hourly rate worth me doing X? Maybe entering stuff in my CRM. Spoiler alert, it's not. That's not where your time is best spent. So like I just did mine. And so the way you do that, if you don't know how to do that, is you take how much you want to make for the year and you take how many weeks out of the year you want to work. So for instance, if I want to make $1 million, which is my minimum threshold every year, if I want to make $1 million and I only want to work 40 weeks out of the year, because let's face it, I like to travel, I like to take time off. So if I go 40 weeks a year and I only like to work about 30 hours a week because I don't work Friday through Sunday most times or evenings because I have a showing assistant and systems and processes in place. So my hourly rate is like $850 an hour. And so now when I'm looking at things from a perspective of what is that worth hourly for me to do? Is that more of a $10 an hour activity that I should be delegating out? Or is this setting appointments, negotiating contracts, having conversations, which are my $850 an item activities? And I think it's interesting that a lot of agents don't understand how to distinguish the two.
You're absolutely right. I practice this drill when we reviewing every 15 minutes of the time with our agents, starting from when you wake up and until you go to bed. And we are reviewing this in a way, can this be delegated? Can
Yes.
this be automated? In some cases, certain things doesn't have to be delegated. They can be just automated. Are
Yeah.
you making the best value of your time during this time that we're living in your schedule? Yes, you absolutely need some time with your family. That cannot be
Yes.
delegated.
Yes.
You need to negotiate offers. You need to be on camera. You need to analyze the financials, analyze your numbers. No one can do that for you. But
Right.
can someone, even on a high level, like make calls using Espresso Agent to for sale buyers and expires and setting up initial appointments? Yeah, no problem. I don't think that it's necessary. If you can afford, if it's in your budget, hiring a VA or in-house assistant and have someone set up these calls. However, if you have the connection, no one can replace you with following up if you already have connection. However, following up on leads that are coming in through other lead sources, very possible.
So I started having the mindset, everything you just said is spot on. I started having the mindset of everything I'm doing on a daily basis over and over and over again. Can it be delegated or should it be delegated? And is there something, a process or an automation that I can put in place to make it easier so that I'm not the one having to do all the things? And when I did that, what's interesting is when you figure those things out and you figure out how to automate more in your business and have systems and processes in place, it takes me less effort now to do 100 transactions a year than it did whenever I was doing 30 transactions because I didn't have any systems and processes in place. And it was like I was just flying by the seat of my pants. So real quick, what are a couple of systems and processes you think is very important for agents to have in their business?
Well, first of all, having systems and processes that you implement yourself. We call it SOP, standard operating procedures, that you rely on just religiously. With certain
If you're
programs,
doing it, you should have an SOP for it.
absolutely. If you do this, it needs to be A, B, C, D, E, the check boxes that you follow through every single time. Because when you sell at a high level like yourself, it's very easy to have one or two things slip off and the
Yeah.
whole entire process kind of shake in the wrong
Yes.
direction.
That's right.
In terms of setting up systems for others, yes, we also need to create these SOPs and control through other platforms that allow to control others through these systems of checks and processes. And at the end of the day, having the systems of having set schedule for yourself and for your team, and making sure that you control your team as well. If you're talking about high level agents who are already on it, having a team or even larger scales in the business, maybe they have their mortgage company or title company in place, having ways to manage all this and having this not overseen by your personal emotions, because that's very common mistake
And
that
do it off what you feel because there's a lot of
right.
days you don't feel like doing it.
Right. Agents grow to that level and they like, I want to control everything. Well, it's better be systemized and
Mhm.
systems will control, and you not control people, you control systems. You control the
You try
output.
to control, you will never be able to scale. That's the one thing I always hear when I see agents going, well, I can't get past 35 transactions a year, but I like doing the TC work. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if you like doing it or not. If you want to scale, you're going to have to let go of some control and let these tasks be handled by somebody else. Because if it's going to be you, you're always going to hit that wall because there's only so much time in every single day, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of time, we are done for today. We are up on time. But if you're looking to get more business, specifically listing business, definitely check out listingleads.com with Jimmy Mackin. And if you use the code Espresso, you get 50% off your first month's rent. You get 50% off your first month with that system. And it's a system I use every single day in our business. And I am getting listing calls and listing appointments every single day. Thank you, Roman. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you for having me here.